So XLM broke through the local top at 51.66 cents, and that then triggered a breakup structure on smart money concept, further confirming that we were on a bullish trend. So if I move this to over here, you can see that we ended up reaching 52.06 cents. And I mentioned in my previous video how I was tracking a 5-wave structure within this 5th wave, and I was also tracking this 5-wave structure where I was looking at for this 5th wave to tap into this region between 47.02 cents to 47.69 cents. So if I extend that, what you can see is we ended up completing the 5th wave at 48.1 cents. And then shortly after, we then saw that corrective move to the downside, followed by another push to the upside, where we then reached the local top. So if I zoom out, it looks like within this 5th wave, what we are forming is an expanding ending diagonal, where if I was to draw in the upper trend line and the lower trend line, and so this 5th wave will be made up of 5 waves, where we had this 5-wave structure that formed the wave 1, and then we had this corrective move to the downside that completed the wave 2, and then this 5-wave structure that we just tracked completed the wave 1 of a 5-wave structure within this 3rd wave to the upside, which reached 52.06 cents. And then we had this corrective move to the downside to complete the wave 4, which reached 44.94 cents. And then we have the final move to the upside to then complete this 5th wave within this 5th wave here. And so, of course, this 3rd wave will have to reach the 1.618 retracement level of the wave 1. So if I bring in the fib tool, just to make sure that the 3rd wave ended up meeting the minimum requirement. And so the 1.618 level sits at 51.59 cents. So if I just draw that target, and if I drop down to the 5-minute chart, and it looks like it's not showed up, so what I'll do is I'll go back to the hourly chart and change the settings. And go down to the 5-minute chart, and so yeah, here you can see that we ended up breaching past the 1.618 level over here, where we reached 51.73 cents. So if I drop down to the minute chart and check to see if the wave 4 and the wave 5 met the typical requirements. And so yeah, here we ended up seeing that wave 4 play out, where we ended up reaching this level at 50.87 cents, followed by the final push to the upside to then complete the 5th wave, which would typically retrace anywhere between 1.236 to 1.618 of the wave 4. So if I bring the fib tool and bring that to over here, so you can see that that region sits between 51.94 cents to 52.27 cents. And so we ended up completing that 3rd wave, given that all the requirements were met. And then we ended up seeing the wave 4 play out, where we ended up reaching this level here. Now, whenever you have a expanding ending diagonal, the wave 4 has to be longer than the wave 2, while at the same time it can't cross the wave 2, which seems to be the case over here, where the wave 2 ended up reaching 43.92 cents and the wave 4 ended up reaching 44.94 cents. And then the 5th wave has to be the longest wave, and so what we need is for the 5th wave to breach past the local top at 52.06 cents. So if I set out the target for the larger 5th wave, which is this one here, so if I bring in the fib tool, and so the next key target for XLM would be this region between 53.95 cents to 57.86 cents. So if I make sure that this is in the right coordinates, so that's the next key target for XLM. And of course, this internal 5th wave will also need to reach the typical requirements, which is anywhere between 1.226 to 1.618 of this wave 4. So once again, if I bring in the fib tool, so here you can see that that region sits between 53.9 cents to 57.06 0.01 cents, which more or less aligns with the larger fifth wave target. And so, yeah, it looks like what we are forming is a 5-wave structure made up of a expanding ending diagonal, and that fifth wave target will be this region here. And then shortly after, we'll be looking out for that retracement to the downside. But of course, that's something I'm going to be tracking in the days to come, and I'll be keeping you guys updated. And so, yeah, that's just my update on XLM. Hopefully you found it useful, and if you did, then feel free to hit that like button, and if you're new, feel free to subscribe. Take it easy, people. Peace.